Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you are lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz, and I am very happy to be coming to you from the grand old city of New York. I've got sore tootsies, and mate, I'm happy to be sitting down. I've had 3 days now of walking the walk all over New York City with my old man and my son, who's actually staying here at the moment for a couple of months with his mum, who works in New York, and I've had an absolute barrel of laughs. And tomorrow we're about to kick off with the first rehearsal day of the Wargaming Finals for the Twister Cup and the Wargaming League, the PC version, which I will be streaming live and loud to you and your happy little ears and eyes. But first, I'm going to do a couple of videos, and this is a recent video that was sent to me by the boys from Kazna. I actually got exactly the same video sent to me by the guys from Ra1D, but unfortunately, like this one, the sound was screwed, only difference being that the Ra1D video kept skipping and stalling out. So I decided to use the video from the guys from Kazna because it was a lot more fluid. And the first map you're going to see here is mine. So I'm going to fast forward through this at a pretty hectic pace because it's going to be over 20 minutes long, even skipping a couple of maps and doing a bit of this and a bit of that, because it was a pretty hard fought match. And they're playing it by very different rules. This is from the recent King of Europe. Now, I showed you a Legion game earlier. This is a different kettle of fish. I believe this is the playoff for third or the semi-finals, one or the other. I don't believe it's the finals. Regardless, the gameplay is pretty top-notch throughout, and a lot of the same moves that you saw in the Legion video are used in the Kazna v Ra1D tilt. And this game goes on for a fair while, and you can see it's actually quite funny. A lot of the chat is blurred out, and one of the funniest things I found was that there was an instance on Desert Sands, which I'm not going to show you, which was pretty hilarious because the Kazna boys had a Barney in the middle of it where one of them died and called everyone else a noob, and it made me laugh my ass off because it was just like it would happen in a public game, except these guys can all really play their little hearts out. But it was pretty awesome. You can see the Object 140 and the medium push from the Ra1D guys has come screaming down the right-hand flank, the right side. The Grill is doing his level best, but unfortunately, Juicy Tender goes down. Juicy Tender. And you can see, though, there's only 2 of the green guys left, and they're going to try and hide and run out the clock, but it will be to no avail. The King of Europe was actually a different kind of competition. The finals ran in a different format. There was wins, there was attacker and defender, where one had to attack and the other one had to defend, so a draw was fine, and there was damage, total damage, and there was also most kills. So it turned into a pretty interesting game, and it makes for a different kind of playstyle, and it's not the kind of thing we're going to be doing with the Wargaming Finals. You can see here on mines a lot of mediums, but actually the guys from Kazna have a little bit of a variation here. They've got STB1s, they've got a Leopard 1, they've got an IS-7. They're not all Object 140s. And there's a few of the games where Object 140s are literally everything you're going to see. And that Object 140 has gone top, and they are looking for the boys from Ra1D and wondering where they can be. And I can tell you right now, the guys from Ra1D are going up the mountain, but they're doing it via the conga line, where they push in and get pushed up along the hill in an area just in front of spawn where you wouldn't think you'd be able to get up, but they do it, and they do it quite successfully, and it works a treat. And you can see the guys from Kazna going, maybe right? No, they're actually on top of the mountain. Very, very cool. They pushed each other up, and then the big heavy IS-7 from Ra1D will push up in the middle there behind the cap circle, and very, very interesting. So they weren't exposed to fire at all by the guys who were pushing up on that hill and just waiting for them to come across the mountain, but they still don't have a lot of shots and they don't have a lot of spots. And you can see now they're in a little bit of a prickly pear position. They have done the right thing and they've got up the top without taking any damage, but there's not exactly a big opportunity cost for these guys from Kazna, because they've not pushed into a position where they're going to get shots into them. You can see there is a Object 140 on the far right side of the map, the eastern flank, who is now to the right of the one, who is looking across, and there is also an Object 140 who is at the base of the hill going up the edge of the cliff there, as you can see on the right. Now, he's taken a couple of hits, but he's spotting up, and if anyone does push down towards him and get proximity spotted, the compatriot he's got behind him directly in the southeast corner will be able to get shots back across the map. And that IS-7 is pushed up as well to below the cap circle, so it's all very much a standoff at the present. And this is where it looks like, just in the last map, where Ra1D actually pushed up and smashed the Kazna boys, Kazna's going for exactly the same deal. And they've pushed through with 3 medium tanks, including this Leo 1, and they're just kind of nut that Object 140 before he gets away. But they're also going to be in a crossfire here from the right, and that's why the Leopard 1 is stuck behind this rock, just doing the business. That's Juicy Tender Steak. Juicy Tender Steak, one of the more famous Leopard 1 drivers. What a name. How do you get Juicy Tender Steak? I suppose it's as arbitrary as Bushka. And they've isolated down here a 3-on-1. After nutting the other fella from Ra1D, they get the honour. And it's now a 1-tank game, because while that's all been happening, they have indeed lost a tank, and that is their heavy. The IS-7 is pushed up, and the other IS-7 is about to go down as well. R18, very good player from Ra1D. He is off. Josip Peptic is screwed. He's got to run. He's low on hit points. The M48 is back there. There's still 4 reds, and 3 of the greens are not in firing position. So effectively, there's a lot of tanks on these last 2 guys at the back, and they're trying to squeeze them before the rest of the Kazna boys can get back and lend support. And that's exactly what they've done. And they've brought it back to a 4-on-5 game, which is a lot more palatable than the 4-on-6 game, which it was. Now, he just needs an average roll, and he gets it. And Toby 180 goes down. So it's back to 4-on-3. This is still anyone's game, and there's plenty of time in the clock. And you can see how well they're coordinating their movements here. They need to get guns out, and he blows a really clear shot there. Really unfortunate. Probably been better off taking a little bit more time, but doesn't muck it up twice and leaves it in a 3-on-1. And then the Object 140 misses one, and he's got heaps of hit points left there. And the Leopard's asking for help, but unfortunately the Mighty King Miami 25, the Mighty King Miami 25, you love it. Is that LeBron's number? I don't think so. He's 34, isn't he? I don't know. Anyway, onwards and upwards. They're going to probably run the cap here, because the low hit point Object, if he gets in the cap, the other Object can cover him. Anything that the Mighty King 25 moves up on is going to struggle. They can just basically run a 2-man game over here, and if he edges, look at that, he's just going to let himself get right in the cap. Now, if I was the red 140, I would be pushing across to that southeastern corner again and trying to get shots up into the cap circle, and that would probably be a chance of getting a blind shot in that would reset the cap and also do a little bit of damage. The other option, and that's what they're talking about here, is to get the second 140 to attack him as he comes up and basically run a 2-man game on him where he has to attack the second 140, and the guy in the cap can actually keep capping out or go down and fill him full of lead as well. So this is one of the reasons why most of these games it's more important to have guns than it is to have a lot of hit points, because even a low hit point player like the guy in the cap can be effective because he's an extra gun and he can't be ignored. Whereas if you might have 3 or 4 guys on 1 hit point, well, if you're good enough to stay out of sight and still land shots, that's as good as being a full hit point tank. So having a full hit point pool at the end of this, while it may be fantastic for you, might not be the best thing you can do in terms of your team. And that's something you've got to remember too when you're playing in a public game. Having a full hit point pool is all well and good, but there is obviously a time to run them and a time when to hold them and a time when to fold them. And just having a full hit point pool and being the last one alive doesn't do a lot of good when there's 5 or 6 enemy tanks left. And you can see now the cap is at 86, so the Object 140 is going to push down because he knows that the second red is going to have to push up and get this cap, and that's exactly what's happened. He's going to get free shots on him because he cannot afford to go anywhere else but that cap circle. He might get the other Object 140 with a decent roll, and he does. Very well played game from both sides. Lots of extremely fast action and very quick medium moves. And the poor old IS-7s both went down pretty damn hard there. The next map we're going to have a look at, we will actually look at that little bit of a blow-up on Desert Sands. Juicy Tender Steak is in the Grill 15 again. Now, we didn't see a lot of Grill 15s throughout the course of the Twister Cup in Asia, on the Asia server. Obviously, I'm not certain on the maps and what they'd be using here. They'd be using a Grill 15 maybe to follow up because it's such a quick tank. It can get to flanks very, very fast behind the medium rush that is generally happening. And you can see here they've got 5 meds, the IS-7, and a TD, a Grill 15. He's setting up on the rail yards, which is not a bad spot in this case. And you can see he's going to get good shots right across there in the STB or the IS-7. Still no one coming up on the right, and there's his first one. Lovely big dose of alpha into the STB-1. And he pushes down because he's spotted, and there are, in fact, tanks coming up behind him. And he's now going to have to move down and has taken a couple of big hits there. The STB is stuck on the edge. That was always going to be a very, very lucky shot if it went in. But he had to take it because he wasn't going to get another shot anytime soon. So he just needs to reset that camo and then move back into a firing position. Now, if he moves all the way up the back here, which is exactly what he's going to do, all the way to the red zone line, then he's a much better chance of not being spotted. And you can see he's pushing across. He's not spotted yet at all. And he's got great clear shots down there. If that STB-1 pulls his ass out any further, he's going to be in strife. Surprisingly, there's no one else pushing around. Maybe because if they do get isolated, they get in a bit of bother. And here's a big one. Ooh, the honor. And a bounce to boot. So very, very nice there. Big ammo rack. Unfortunate for the honor, but that's how it all happens when you're in the big leagues. And the Object 140 that goes across there, Bakria gets right and stroppy at the rest of his team. But for all that, the good guys from Kazna do triumph on this map. You can see something has been rubbed out there. I'd suggest, say when you're rushing, we would rush. Oh yeah, it's all on. I told you guys, even the best players get the shit, get cranky with each other. Nice shot there into the top hatch, and they all get it together and they win and carry the day regardless. Now, I've got to say, being in New York City has been a lovely, lovely experience. I went to see the Knicks last night. I saw Kristaps Porzingis go absolutely off the dial and score 25 in the first half. And they had a very close victory over the Pistons and Andre Drummond, who was doing the business there. I've been all over and had an absolute, one of the best cities in the world I've ever been. It's like modern Rome. Lots and lots of things happening. There's that many crazy people around, but no one cares. It's just, you could walk down the street wearing a dress with a pot plant on your head and singing Hallelujah, and no one would give you a second glance. It's a pretty cool joint. My old man loves it. He's out now just going to a pub, having a bit of a drink and a burger, and chatting up the barman, seeing what's going on, what's going around in town. And I'm back here talking to you humans because I love you. Here we go. We are on the ever effervescent Mirage, and you can see that I've cut straight down to the end because it was basically 5 minutes of both teams circling around to the opposite side of the map and then not moving at all. And our hero, Juicy Tender Steak, is in the Object 140, and he's pushing to the back, trying to get into a position to cover and get shots on this 215B, which he does, and whacks one in through the front drive wheel. However, they are playing very, very passive here. And this is giving up an awful lot of map. They're in a back pocket. They're not putting fire in. They've kind of got themselves stuck at the back here. And they've isolated that T110E5. He can't really move. Josip Petic is asking for help. He's got the affirmative there, but gets into the side, doesn't get the pen on the STB1. He's using heat, so it's probably gone into the tracks on the side. Lovely shot there into the top of the grill. The Object 140. Josip was never long for this well, but he did do a good job in stopping that flank. And what it's done by stopping the flank is it's given the guys in his team in the 140s an actual opportunity to get shots into these guys and kind of pointed them into a pocket. The grill's very low on hit points. The 215B is going to be pretty low on hit points. He gets one in just a second, I believe, from the right. Oh no, maybe that's just happened. No, there it is. Gets one in on the poor old Juicy Tender Steak, but cops one back for his troubles. And Josip's T110E5 spotted a lot of these guys up early and actually kept them on the radar for quite some time so they couldn't rush down and take advantage. If they had been able to push down earlier, they may well have been able to bring these numbers to bear and make a bigger difference. Unfortunately, that was never going to be the case. The Grill 15 is just too soft at the back there to stay up and bounce shots hull down, and it's all over. Now, that one, I believe, was actually a kill game where the more kills won the encounter, and that's why the boys from Kazna actually walked away with the win in that one. This is the second time round with the Oasis Palms. Although you'd be forgiven for thinking it was the same battle all over again, because guess what happens? They all end up in this corner again, and last time they all ended up in this corner after both driving around the map. This time, everyone just kind of stayed in the same place. And you can see there's an awful lot of medium tanks out there. There's two leading edges of those medium flanks. And what I like about this from both sides is both sides aren't afraid to use their hit point pools. They're trying to use their hit point pools to take out guns without actually dying. And that's what happened there. You can see the M48 Falcon I Forms is out of the game already. He got absolutely wrecked. The Object 140, very solid little tank, getting the bounce there despite the lovely pen numbers on its heat. And they've all just cooled their heels a little bit now. The M48A1 was very unlucky. He was the first one spotted and the first one to cop everyone's gun. And now it's back to a very much a grind it out kind of style. And that's exactly what we can see here. There's an Object 140 stuck on the corner there, and he's between two lovers now. He's in big strife. The STB1, great hull down tank for a map like this. Really, really rough option there from the Raid Object 140 pushing up. The STB1's done the right thing. He's got himself re-camoed up, and now he can pop up somewhere else, hopefully using that gun depression and put a shot back into the boys from Kazna, who surprisingly, I thought they may well have kept someone above the cap, but what they've decided to do is pump through the middle and isolate those guys right around that mosque area in the middle. And that's brought the battle right to a head. You can see there are 3 reds there, 4 reds, but the red guys have read it an absolute treat, no pun intended. And they've got their entire team just about busting ass down into that area, and it's left the green boys in all sorts of trouble. And they've only just polished off that Object 140, the Honor from Raid, who was the object of their desire right at the start of it. And you can see there, the fortune did not in fact favour the brave. Fortune favoured the team that sat back and waited till only 3 or 4 of them committed to one tank, and then they just absolutely monstered them. As you can see, here come the Zerg rushing Object 140s, and they take out poor old Juicy Tender Steak before he can do much else. So 1-1 on that map there, and it's actually gone to a final map where they are on Middberg, and it's going to be 3-2. It's best of 7, so if Kazna can win either one of the final 2 matches, then they will pick it up and walk away with all the chocolate rations. And in fact, they lost the 6th game. So this is the final game, the 7th game, and it is Kazna v Raid for all the marbles. This is where you want to go if you are looking for high quality gameplay. They've gone hill, which is exactly where I like to go, and the boys from Raid have gone town. I never go town, ever, ever, ever. It's the worst thing. You can see Captain Crow is going negative. Do not do it. Don't move. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. And the Object 140 pulls right back. Now, they've spotted someone there, and they're going to basically try and leverage all their hard nuts down the left-hand side because they can see that 140, and they're going to wait for this IS-7 to get there, and then they are going gangbusters. And this, much like the final game of the Legion game, is just, it's funny. It's like these guys get all the way down here, they get to the 7th game, and they just go, stuff it, we're in, we're just going to do it, we're having a crack. And that's exactly what they do. Everyone goes in hell for leather. You can see the IS-7, despite being a big angry tank, is still in a little bit of strife. Gets the actual shot to reset the cap, which was absolutely key because the cap was nearly at 70. So hats off, Juicy Tender Steak. Really good stuff. The medium rush is on. It is like stormtroopers down the alleyway at the start of Star Wars. And the boys from Kazna have pulled back, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they've put them in a wonderful crossfire. And really, really, that was the game-changing move there. As Ra1D pushed extra hard, Kazna pulled back in 2 different directions, and the Ra1D boys kept pushing through and got caught in the crossfire, and it was probably the most decisive factor there because the games all up were very well played, and it went right down to the wire, all the way down to the 7th game. You can see all the good games there. Actually, really solid effort. Kazna winning 4 games to 3 in the end over Ra1D, but a fantastic result for all that. Well deserved and excellent gameplay. And I'm going to be posting more of these. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some stuff going live. I'm going to be doing this patron tournament. We're through to the 2nd round of that. We've had quite a few people pick up wins there. Loonies, Llamas, Noobs on Tour. I think G-Spot beat Premo or Bust. It's been fantastic to see the guys engaging that. And I'm going to be doing the stream of that live, which will be a lot of fun because I'll be able to talk heaps of rubbish about them and there'll be a lot of banter. I'm looking forward to tomorrow getting stuck in with the Wargaming guys and meeting a few people from all around the world. ID from Asia, Premo from NA, the guys from Europe are Legion, and is it C4? I think it's C4 from Russia or CIS. Thanks very much for watching, guys. As always, you're lovely human beings. I'm loving life in New York. If only I could import the family over here, I'd probably stay for a couple more weeks. But I really miss the junior Bushka and the Mrs. Bushka. Can't wait to see them. So until next time, look after your families and stay safe on the battlefield.